Some of you today accepted Jesus Christ for the first time. That's salvation. That's this thing that God is going to be doing inside of you now to the day that you die and then go to heaven. This is really cool idea where God loves you and God doesn't judge you or condemn you, but that He accepts you just exactly how you are. And today we're going to be talking about walking that out and knowing that salvation is a part of who we are and that we get to tell other people about it. Knowing how much God loves us is pretty amazing, right? Last week, Chad did a killer job. What did we talk about last week, Chadwick?
Faith.
Faith. Anybody remember what Chad talked about?
The backpack.
Backpack, right? How you kind of need this thing to what? To carry around your tools, right? That God has given you these things, what? To protect you, to guard you, to arm you, so that when you're in a sticky situation, if you will, when you open up your backpack, you have what? The right things you need. Because like he talked about last week, sometimes we go into situations where we have tools, if you will, that don't really belong. You know, like Morgan plays water polo. She's not going to bring, a guitar to her water polo practice. And a lot of times we do that with our salvation. We do that with our Christianity, is we bring things of this world to the table, assuming that the things of this world are going to give us satisfaction. And we're playing with the wrong set of tools. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about today, and I want to check out the verse in Ephesians chapter 6 right now. It says, let God's saving power be like a helmet. And we're going to use it in terms of like a hat. Because obviously you and I don't walk around with helmets all day long. I guess we play some sports that require helmets, like football or things like that. I get you're wearing a helmet. But for everyday practicality's sake, we're going to call it a hat. This kind of completion, if you will, of your ensemble. This thing that is guarding you from the top down, right? This idea where this verse, like God says, is let God's saving power, like let God's everlasting love and joy and commitment to you be the thing that guides you, be the thing that helps you walk on planet Earth. Because a lot of times what I do is I let my outward appearance or I let my relationships dictate how I am perceived, if you will, by the world. By the way I dress, by the things I get tattooed on my arm, by this little ring on my left finger, people know what I'm about. And I allow these things to dictate. I let the power of this, or this, or this, or this, or this, dictate to the world what I'm about. And what this verse is saying is something completely different. Let God's saving power dictate your personality. Not what you're good at. Not what your hobbies are. Not how you look or how you dress or how popular you are. But let God dictate your person. It's kind of a radical idea, right? Let's take Jack, for example. I love Jack. Jack's one of my favorite students that I've had in a really long time. I like Jack because Jack is committed, right? Jack's committed. He knows what he likes, and there's no telling him that he's wrong. He's a true sports fan, down to his bones. Jack is wearing a hat today. He's wearing a 49er hat today. His 49ers are not in the Super Bowl. Got a couple of 49er fans in here. Yeah, let's give it up. 49ers, they were a good team this year. But no one is going to tell Jack that they're not a great team. Jack wears his hat, be able to, one, claim who the best team in the NFL is, right? I'm assuming that's what you believe, right? But also to say, look, this is the completion of my outfit. This is it. This is how I will be identified. As a Giants fan, as a 49er fan, for you, you're a DC fan. Us versus them. Volcom. We dictate to the world. And sometimes we allow the world to dictate for us. What the Apostle Paul is saying is he's saying just like a soldier goes into battle wearing a certain degree of protection, is the same thing that you and I should do going into this world with a certain degree of godly influence. The hat of salvation, if you will, the completion of your ensemble, of your perfect outfit, the thing that is resting on your head for all to see, the claim that you are Christ. Not that you're literally Christ, but you are of Him, that you are Christ-like. The term Christian means follower of Christ or follower of the way, in which when people look at Abby, they should see Jesus. When people look at me, they should see Jesus. They shouldn't just see me, but they should see God coming out of me. What Paul is saying is he's saying your hat, if you will, of salvation should be the thing that everyone sees first. That everyone knows what you're about. That people have no idea the love and grace of God unless you tell them. There's no wondering who you are and what you're about. The moment I met Jack, I knew 3 things about him. A, he was a golfer. B, he liked the Giants. And C, that he liked the 49ers. How did I know that? Because he wears it every day. Because it's what he's about. If he's not wearing something golf related, he's wearing something Giants related. If he's not wearing anything Giants or golf, it's the Niners. Because that's what he's about. He's dedicated. He loves the sports. He loves his teams. It's what you and I should be with Christ. That every day I'm putting Him on. That every day I'm showing Him off. That every day I'm letting everyone know what He's done for me. And that every day people should look at me and go, that guy's into Jesus. That guy's claiming Jesus. It doesn't matter what the world says. I can tell Jack all day that Colin Kaepernick is the worst quarterback. I can tell Jack all day long that all of his teams suck. And Jack's going to say, no, you're wrong. And what Paul is telling us is that when people come up to you and say, God isn't real, dude, you're joking yourself. What you should be able to do based on your love and countenance for Jesus to be able to say, that's your opinion, but you're wrong, dude. Not only is God real, let me give you some tangible proof of how He's changed my life. You see, the world is going to come at you. It's going to fight you. It's going to make fun of you. It's going to mock you. A, because you may be different. B, because you believe in a God that they don't believe in. And C, because you don't look like, act like, and talk like they do. So Paul tells you to put on the complete outfit of Christ-likeness in order to combat, if you will, or to fight against the things of this world. So when people do come to harm you spiritually, that you will be safe and sound, knowing that not only is God real, but He's in the process of changing you. That when you walk out the door with your shoes of peace and your shirt of righteousness and your hat of salvation, and your belt of truth, and your backpack of faith, and you walk onto your school campus, or you walk into Walmart, or you walk into some store, or anywhere you go that people are looking at you, and there's this aura, if you will, this idea about you, this concept in which people look at you and go, man, he may look like everyone else, but he acts completely different. You know, I think that Paul uses the helmet as almost this protective guard against you and I for the rest of our existence. That salvation is the thing that not only defines us, but salvation is the thing that everyone else needs most. I want you to check out this last verse with me. It says this in the book of Psalms, chapter 62:7. It says, my salvation and my significance depend ultimately on God. The core of my strength, my shelter, is in the true God. You see, David is saying this, I identify myself, find my worth, find who I am, and define everything else based on one thing and one thing alone. It's the salvation and the grace and the love of God in my life. He says it's how I get up in the morning. It's why I have strength to move forward. Because I know that even when I screw up, that even when I'm not perfect, that even when the world is beating me up, that even when my friends abandon me, make fun of me, or just persecute me, that God is the only one that really matters. That God is the one who determines my worth, determines my strength, and is the one who gives me life. The psalmist is saying something so deep and so amazing, yet so poetic. My salvation and my significance, my worth, my value is not found on how boys see me, girls. And girls and boys, it doesn't matter how many girls like you or how popular or how good you are at sports. Your value isn't dependent upon how great of an individual you are or how beautiful you are or what you wear. Your value is determined by the salvation and saving grace of Jesus Christ. Nothing else matters. Everything else is but a breath in the wind. That is what Paul is trying to convey to us. Do not get caught up with what others think, what others do, and what others say. Because you will find yourself running away from God and you don't even realize it. Put on the entire armor of God from head to toe and walk in the newness of life that God has given you, knowing that it will be a difficult road, but that He alone is the one who determines your value and worth.